Hello and welcome to another edition of Beyond the Real. My name's Alex, and today we're going to be doing something a little different. I've kind of already done a video similar to this before. Basically, we're going to sit down and watch the opening scene to Inglorious Basterds. Hopefully, this will serve in a way to either change the way you look at the scene or convince you to watch the film if you haven't seen it yet. Chapter 1. Once upon a time in Nazi-occupied France. So, of course, we get the setting, of course, 1941, during World War II. Funky looking cows, but start with this farmer. And I really like this reveal right here. So, from the beginning, this tells us that, something's about to go down. And I really like the music all across the film, to be honest. So, of course, we get the Germans arriving. The farmer's trying to pull himself together here. Don't run, keep the illusion going. So he's meant to wash up, but as you can see, kind of puts it on his clothes, so CGI cows. Kind of takes you out for a second there.
Est-ce la propriété de Perrier-Lapadite?
Je suis Perrier-Lapadite.
C'est un plaisir de vous rencontrer, monsieur Lapadite. Je suis le colonel SS Hans Landa.
Que puis-je faire pour vous?
J'espérais que vous m'inviteriez à entrer chez vous, afin que nous puissions avoir une discussion.
Certainement.
So hand on the arm there. And this is what I like because, so of course he introduces his family. So let's take a quick pause here. And one thing that really sticks out is obviously the blonde girl who's played by Leia Sedell. I don't know if I pronounced that correctly, but right off the bat, there's big contrast. There's a big difference between the three here. And notice how he walks past them and goes straight to her. Now, you could imagine that this is just because, the whole blonde hair, blue eyes thing that supposedly was, the gospel back then, but also it could just be that, he feels that she's the odd one out, so he's going to go speak directly to her, see if she breaks.
Colonel SS Hans Landa, mademoiselle, à votre service. Les rumeurs qui circulent dans le village au sujet de votre famille sont tout à fait fondées. Monsieur Lapadite, vos filles sont toutes plus jolies les unes que les autres.
Merci. Je vous en prie. Asseyez-vous.
And it's already uncomfortable because he's not being rude or anything, but it still feels like
Je
something's
vais bien aller chercher des verres.
off. Like,
Mais non.
oh, and this thing a lot of people point out is that he grabs her hand to check her pulse, see if her heart's racing or anything, pick up on any subtle signs like that.
Je préfère brûler. Tu veux bien aller fermer la fenêtre, s'il te plaît?
I notice how he kind of gives them all something to do, but he's still very much staring at the blonde one. And of course, it's this, they're trying to tell us something very subtly, but
Merci.
it's just very uncomfortable because it's like, it's not necessarily his look, it's just the fact that it's like he's still very much, minding his manners, but
Monsieur.
it seems like he's not exactly getting that back.
Je dis bravo.
And, he's being friendly, complimenting the workmanship of,
Rejoindre à votre table.
it's good milk, he's a dairy farmer.
Monsieur Labadie, vu ce dont nous avons discuté.
And I really like this because, he's just trying to level with him. He's like, I left my guys outside. This is between me and you, so could you please, send him out? Of course, he obliges, doesn't want anything to be out of the ordinary. And since he already gave kind of the other two something to do, he goes back to her. And still gives a look.
Monsieur Lapadite, je suis au regret de vous informer que j'ai épuisé l'étendue de mon français. Continuer à le parler si peu convenablement ne ferait que me gêner. Cependant, je crois savoir que vous parlez en anglais tout à fait correct, n'est-ce pas?
Oui.
Ma foi, il se trouve que moi aussi.
And then this is another thing, he's still trying to be polite, trying to level with him, but, he's like, hey, let's switch languages because my French isn't all that. And of course, this is Inglorious Basterds, made by Quentin Tarantino, and, he's an American, so it's an American movie, so it's like, oh, yeah, let's switch to English. But I really like how this plays in later.
Yes.
Please tell me what you've heard.
And then this is kind of like, you can take this as many ways, whether, he's just like, acknowledge me, or if like he's really just trying to like, oh, well, what have you heard of me, stroking his ego, or etc.
But the meaning of your visit, pleasant though it is mysterious.
And I like that little look he gave him whenever
The Germans
when he's
looked to
like,
my house
as
and
pleasant as
said,
your visit
"Why
is,
did
he
you
gives him that
found
little
that
side eye.
I'm aware of that. I've read the reports of this area. But like any enterprise, when under new management, there's always a slight duplication of efforts.
And I really like his explanation here about why he decided to actually come out.
Nevertheless.
About, the change of management and how he would want to come out himself.
If you can assist me with answers, my department can close a file on your family.
There's still this uneasiness about the farmer. Excuse me.
Now, before the occupation, there were 4 Jewish families in this area, all dairy farmers like yourself.
This is very much just run-of-the-mill stuff. He's pretty much basically just doing his job and making sure that
Is that correct?
everything is the way it's supposed to be, just making sure no stone went unturned in his search.
Disturb you for smoke, my pipe.
Oh, please, Monsieur Lapadite.
And I really like how he levels with him, because, trying to establish that sense of comfort between the two, which is a very realistic thing that you would expect.
Been accounted for, except the cartridges. Somewhere in the last year, it would appear they've vanished, which leads me to the conclusion that they've either made good their escape or someone is very successfully hiding them. What have you heard about the cartridges, Monsieur Lapadite?
Only rumors.
I love rumors. Facts can be so misleading. Were rumors true or false are often revealing. To Monsieur Lapadite.
And I really just love the logic that he has here about rumors, about how, are they true, are they not? That sense of mystery, and basically just how, how much you can get from investigating.
Dreyfuses had made their way into Spain.
And I really love this. You know, he's trying to
So the
keep his
rules
cool.
have been of escape.
Yes.
You know, his stumbleness of the language.
Having never met the Dreyfuses, would you confirm for me the exact members of the household and their names?
And I really love how, in that of him putting out the match, how they're still in the corner. The colonel's his hat, and you know, more just run of the mill stuff. Give us a little information about why he's there, and just in a moment as to why this information is even being given to us.
How old is Bob?
And you know, of course, the classic trademark Tarantino camera pan rotation.
Continue.
And the children. Shoshana.
Ages of the children?
Amos was 9 or 10.
And Shoshana?
And Shoshana was 18 or 19.
And here we go. This is where it really starts to take off. Because as all that is going on, you know, we get this pan down, and
I guess that should do it.
we see that the family that they're talking about is hiding under the floorboards, holding their breath as to not get discovered. So that just adds another massive stakes to the way the story, to the way the story's going, the way we see the scene now. Now that we know, you know, what's at stake, who's involved, the danger that can happen.
Are you aware of the nickname the people of France?
And here we go again. It's just another ego stroke, acknowledge me kind of thing.
I have no interest in such things.
And of course, he asked for another glass of milk that you can interpret as him just taking away from the guy's livelihood. But
What are you aware of?
it's really up to interpretation. He's got to put the pipe back in his mouth, you know, to help calm him down a little more.
I understand your trepidation in repeating it. Heinrich apparently hates the moniker the good people of Prague have bestowed on him. Actually, why he would hate the name the hangman's baffling to me. It would appear he's done everything in his power to earn it. Now, I, on the other hand, love my unofficial.
And you see this about what he just said about about the hangman. He's earned that title.
The feature that makes me such an...
So him saying that he embraced it, you know, it's just another cool thing, you know, that he pretty much feels he's earned that nickname, so that's why he likes to be called that.
Think like a German. More precisely, a German soldier.
And this philosophy that he talks about is just a whole nother level.
Now, if one were to determine what attribute the German people share with a beast, it would be the cunning and the predatory instinct of a hawk. But if one were to determine what attributes the Jews share with the beast, it would be that of the rat. The Führer and Goebbels' propaganda have said pretty much the same thing. But where our conclusions differ is, I don't consider the comparison an insult. Consider for a moment the world a rat lives in.
And this right here,
A hostile world, indeed. If a rat were to scamper through your front door right now, would you greet it with hostility?
I suppose I would.
Has a rat ever done anything to you to create this animosity you feel toward him?
Rats spread disease. To bite people.
Rats were the cause of the bubonic plague, but that's some time ago. I propose to you any disease a rat could spread, a squirrel could equally carry.
and here's this thing that what he's saying, you can see his viewpoint because
Yet I assume you don't share the same animosity with squirrels that you do with rats.
once again, you can level with him and understand where he's coming from, and it kind of, for the most part, makes sense, and most would agree with.
It's an interesting thought.
It's an interesting thought. It's a great philosophy. Well, maybe not great, but it's a philosophy that you can definitely think about.
If a rat were to walk in here right now as I'm talking, would you greet it with a source of your delicious milk?
Probably not.
I didn't think so. You don't like them? You don't really know why you don't like them. All you know is you find them repulsive. Consequently, a German soldier conducts a search of a house suspected of hiding Jews.
And then this is
Where
basically
does
where
the hawk look? He looks in the barn.
where Colonel Hans just absolutely smashes him.
Where he would hide. But there's so many places it would never occur to a hawk to hide. However, the reason the Führer's brought me off my Alps in Austria and placed me in French cow country today is because it does occur to me. Because I'm aware of what tremendous feats human beings are capable of once they abandon dignity.
Oh man.
May I smoke my
And then this is just when you know it's game over,
Please go and make yourself at home.
because what he pulls out is almost comical. And then of course he takes the farmers matches and
Now,
lights up as well. But he's basically like, oh yeah, well, look at this.
dictate.
Mine's bigger, haha. And just watch the farmer.
When men enter your home
Just look at it.
and conduct a thorough search before I can officially cross your family's name off my list. And if there are any irregularities to be found, rest assured they will be. That is unless you have something to tell me that makes the conducting of a search unnecessary.
Hmm.
I might add also that any information
I love the
in
subtle
support
zoom.
of my duties,
And
will
just
not be met with
the change in facial expression.
Actually, quite the contrary. It will be met with reward.
Here we go.
And that reward will be your family will cease to be harassed.
Another subtle zoom.
German military during the
Slow
rest of the
breakdown.
occupation of your country.
The sense of unease. And here the change in face. Subtle zoom again.
You're sheltering enemies of the state, are you?
He knows. He always knew.
Yes.
He completely broke him.
You're sheltering them underneath your floorboards, aren't you?
See? He knew all along. Back to his philosophy of how he thinks not like a German soldier.
Talk to me the areas where they're hiding.
And just the small tear, you know, these were his friends, his neighbors, his co-workers, because, you know, they mentioned that they were all farmers. And I love this crescendo of music.
Since I haven't heard any disturbance, I assume while they're listening they don't speak English.
And here we get as to why
Yes.
the language switch.
I'm going to switch back to French now, and I want you to follow my masquerade set clear.
And here we go. Oh my God.
Yes. Monsieur Lapadite, je vous remercie pour le nez
And of course,
et pour votre hospitalité. Il me semble que nous en avons
he took stuff
terminé.
off the table too. And there's a crescendo still going.
Ah, mesdames, je vous remercie pour le temps que vous m'avez consacré. Nous ne vivrons pas votre famille plus longtemps.
Oh my
Donc,
God.
monsieur,
And he just destroys this man's home.
je prends congé de vous et je vous dis adieu.
Once again, I just love the little music. Cute. And then the comparison of the rat and just what we see, kind of like a rat staring out of a sewer or a pipe or etc. And I just love this shot. the utter darkness and just the illumination of the doorway and the window and the way Hans enters. And here we go. Skull and crossbones. And there's that small sense of, is she gonna make it? And like, she's absolutely filthy. Her family's blood is on her. And he lets her go. But there's more to it because, you know, he kind of wants to, kind of as like a cat and mouse. You know, he enjoys what he does. Kind of like what's already been proven in how he basically just wants the game to keep going. So he lets her go knowing that they'll meet again. But yeah, I absolutely love this opening scene. It's really great. It has great acting. It tells a great story. Honestly, this could pretty much on its own just be its own little like mini movie. And I just absolutely applaud everything that went into this. Of course, Christoph Waltz's performance takes front and center, not just in the scene, in the whole film. But, you know, we also got to give props to the farmer, to his daughters, everything that went into it, the writing, the camera movement, Quentin Tarantino's direction. And yeah, it's just the musical cues, the sound mixing. Like, man, I just absolutely love this. And every time I sit down and watch this movie, this is probably one of the things I look forward to the most. Just this great opening scene that we got. And yeah, I hope that if you haven't seen Inglorious Basterds yet, I definitely recommend it. It's a great film. Yeah, it's just a lot of fun. But if you have seen Inglorious Basterds, I hope that you took something from this watch along, and I hope that this changes the way you see the scene. Or if not, I'm curious to hear what you think of the scene, if you like it. Is there something that is there an interpretation or like a small detail that I didn't mention that you would like to share? You know, please leave it down below. Because like I said, I love this scene, and I'm just curious as to how people watch it. Like, what does this scene mean for you? And I just would really like to know, because I love it that much. But yeah, this is it. My name is Alex. This is Beyond the Real, and don't forget to drink water today. And until next time, I'll see you again soon. Bye.